Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, I've been thinking today, I'm not sure what I love most at the moment. Is it being fortunate enough to be invited to cover events all over the world? Or is it being able to speak with people from all over the world every day from my home here, and how they or their company are making a big difference? Now, I think I might surprise you here and say it could be the latter, because I think we're all bombarded with bad news on our timelines each day. Always starts your day on a bit of a downer. So to be able to speak with people from various backgrounds, cultures and continents is good for the soul. But I hope you enjoy it too, of course. Now today I'm going to be talking to Clément Buyse, and he's from PeopleDoc, and he's going to be waiting for us in sunny Paris in France today. Now at PeopleDoc they have their sights set on making the difficult job of HR easier, all with their HR delivery cloud that covers case and employee file management, process automation and advanced analytics. But I want to talk to him about how they're doing this, but also how his 800 business customers located all over the world are preparing for GDPR, and equally how they're helping both their clients and also getting their own house in order for GDPR too. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Paris so we can speak with Clement from PeopleDoc. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for inviting me. So my name is Clément Buyse. I am COO and co-founder at PeopleDoc, a leading cloud solution for HR service delivery. I am now 35. I am French, as you would have guessed. I have always been an entrepreneur, and now I am lucky to be also involved as a business angel and sometimes advisor in the startup scene.
Fantastic. Now, I have been reading up on you guys, and it does seem that at PeopleDoc, you encourage businesses to join the global movement by actually being better at being digital. I mean, everyone does digital, but I think we all need to do it a little bit better. So can you set the scene and offer an overview of what PeopleDoc is and how it helps people and businesses, and help anyone at home listening visualize exactly what problems you solve and also what makes you unique from other solutions out there?
Sure. So concretely, we provide a platform for HR to go fully digital in their day-to-day interaction with employees and managers. We are kind of a HR administration 2.0 platform, I would say. Now we have more than 4 million employees served via PeopleDoc out of 800 enterprise class customers around the world. And to do so, we leverage a cutting-edge technology relying on HR case management to answer questions from employees, knowledge base to provide information you need as an employee, and as a backbone of the platform, an employee file management solution to help HR and companies in better handling their documentation. The three things you would get using PeopleDoc are better productivity, better compliance and security, and I'm pretty sure we're going to touch base on the GDPR, and last but not least, better employee satisfaction.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned GDPR there, because May the 25th is rapidly approaching. I mean, are you finding that most companies are actually prepared for GDPR?
It's an excellent question. I think that most companies are investing the time and effort to get there as quickly as they can. That's for sure. And I would say that this is not only because of the impending GDPR and potential fines, but it's because that they understand now that the world we are living in today is different, that customers and employee data protection is a key stake now. We know they are concerned because we get a lot of questions on these topics. To say that everyone is up to date, that everyone is ready, I'm not sure, to be frank with you. Because we work with more than 800 customers around the world, we feel a responsibility to help everyone learning every day on these emerging regulation and best practices around compliance, and especially for multinationals, by the way. In fact, this year, we've created at PeopleDoc an online services for customers to call us and find information on HR compliance. So we called the service HR Compliance Assist. And basically, it's really to leverage the community of customers we have for them to share best practices and their learning. So in terms of them being ready, I would say we are all in the best effort mode. Most of them are, but there are still some open questions, I would say.
Absolutely. I mean, you all, like you said there, working with over 800 big businesses from all over the world. What do you think are the biggest issues companies are facing with GDPR?
Yeah, well, this is obviously a complex and hurting project to get GDPR compliant. GDPR implies the company and its suppliers as well. And we need to remind of that, because suppliers and even suppliers of suppliers. I would say that out of everything we're seeing on this topic, a lot of legal teams are somehow surprised to find out that even having the best IT teams ever, they don't know exactly where the company data is stored, And actually, to better manage employee data going forward, companies are realizing that they need to centralize and manage data in one or a minimum of secure places. So this is one thing. The other thing is that the GDPR itself is really and very detailed. And there are some open questions that won't be resolved before May 25. And so this is why, by the way, experts recommend clearly documenting each decision relating to personal data as you come into compliance. This way, if a compliance question comes up from regulator later on, you will be able to explain the rationale behind data decision over time.
So you are helping so many businesses from all over the world, like we said there. But I'm curious as well, what steps have you taken at PeopleDoc to actually ensure that you're GDPR compliant? Because I think, obviously, you're helping so many others, but I'm interested in the kind of challenges that you've got too.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure we're going to have time to cover everything during the call. So I'm going to try to give you some few examples. Sure. And by the way, for anyone that is interested, we published an ebook that walks through the more fully of what we've done to reach the GDPR compliance. You can find that on the PeopleDoc website. So I would say that, and by the way, I do recommend that we had kind of a practical approach. That with compliance, it isn't about checking one regulation off your list. That's not the point at all. You need to take a proactive approach to understand the employee data you are collecting, who access to it, and how you should manage each type of data over time. So out of the big steps we took internally, I can give you 3 major steps we took. The very first one was that we've built a dedicated GDPR team. In particular, we've created, even being a 280 people company, we've created a data privacy officer role in the company. Second, we put in place new policies. And by the way, to do that, we used our own system. So yes, PeopleDoc is using PeopleDoc to communicate and get proof of employee awareness on that, which is of course key. And lastly, we also worked and continue to work across the company to instill the best practice as for data management. I would say it is data minimization. So what is a data minimization principle? It's just to ensure that the only data that you need to collect, and I would say for HR that typically means information related to an employee's identity or personal data. It means that if it's not used regularly for day-to-day HR management, your best effort of not requesting it will be the minimization effort. So again, everywhere you can anonymize, everywhere you can save the usage of the data, you do it. And frankly, it was a year and a half project internally at PeopleDoc. We still have open question. We are really based on a transparent mode. So we've also audited all our suppliers. And transparent mode was also including our customers to share, I would say, this project and to involve them into this project.
Now, you are speaking to us from Paris today, but I think it's really worth highlighting that you're beginning to grow rapidly in the US because you already have clients that include Nestle, GoDaddy and Starbucks, just to name but a few. But do you have any before and after stories of how a brand was that you were working with and how they've transformed from before to what they're doing now with you guys? I mean, you don't have to name any names, but I'm interested in any stories of the kind of challenges and how they've overcome them working with you.
Yeah. But that's funny because we are, I would say, selling and deploying the same tool for any new customers, but every time the customer story is actually slightly different. Yeah. So out of all the customer stories I have in mind, maybe one that was recently with Avis Budget Group. So, the car rental company.
Yeah.
So we deployed our global solution for their 33,000 employees worldwide out of a 6 month roughly project. And we opened an employee portal to all employees to kind of revamp their experience into their interaction with the HR service center. On day 2, the team already had processed more than 3,000 requests from employees. And they received really an amazing feedback. And I would say that I wanted to give you this example because this is really a decentralized organization, of course, with people around the globe, with people in offices, with no, I would say, HR manager or local HR manager. And in this case, the digital that is often seen as some threats for human relationship is really helping people to stay connected with their companies. So I really love this story. You told me about GoDaddy. Actually, GoDaddy, their director of HR operation is conducting a webinar while we are talking today. So if you want to know more about the transformation they've been leading with PeopleDoc, it will be available for replay on the website.
Would I also be right in saying that it's a two-way street where your clients' ideas for change can actually help you guys innovate in ways that directly improve how they work? I mean, is that true? And if so, do you have any examples of that too?
Yeah, it's more than true. I would say, being co-founder of PeopleDoc, we owe mostly everything to our customer. So we are used to saying that more than 80% of our product roadmap is based on customer and user feedbacks.
Yeah.
Innovation process at PeopleDoc is designed to be customer and more than that, user-centric. We have built an online customer community. We organized every year regional user groups. We recently launched, by the way, an internal incubator named PeopleDoc Next, where we welcome our customer for them to participate in our innovation program. So a recent example would be around machine learning. We are using now machine learning to automate the HR document recognition, validation, and typing of documents. The original idea and concept came from customers, by the way, US customers. And we have now initiated more than a project, but kind of an open data program with a bunch of customers to train the bots on real data so that it will be able to be used by all the customer community to automate the HR document recognition. So that's kind of a great way of partnering with customers, really innovating and bring to the market some useful and used technology later on.
Now, there have also been quite a few stories recently of how millennials and Gen Z are taking over the workplace, which on its own is not big news. Younger generation are now working in the workplace. But I mean, what are the big questions asked by millennials in offices from your experience there?
Yeah, you're right. I'd say that. By the way, the rising of what is called the continuous feedback culture and its translation in the HR tech scene with all the voice of employees platform is the perfect demonstration of that. Yeah. People now want work in companies in which they are considered as internal clients. They are just putting lots of pressure on employer to have faster, more dedicated, and more personalized services. This is, by the way, why we've built our solution to revamp the HR service delivery.
Now, I also read a great story about Aasonn partnered with PeopleDoc to further SAP SuccessFactors by providing a complete HR service delivery platform. Can you tell me more about that and what it means for PeopleDoc?
Yeah, thank you for coming back to that. It's a great news. I would say that now, PeopleDoc is entering a new phase of its development. We are building a stronger and stronger partnership ecosystem. Our goal is to flip from 2080 to something that will be nearly 50-50 between direct sell and indirect sell in the future, as for the platform commercial mode. So this is, for a long period, we've been some kind of evangelists for what we are doing. And now the market is way more mature. Discussing with analysts, we see that there is I would say, an excellent market opportunity for PeopleDoc. This is why we need to accelerate while leveraging this network of key partners. So Aasonn is joining a global ecosystem. Aasonn is specializing in SAP, and of course SAP as well as Workday and Ultimate Software Stacks, those core HCM SaaS platform are key for PeopleDoc as we are an add-on to those systems. So working with Aasonn, it means for the end customer, it means an all-in-one platform, meaning the core HR, the payroll, and native integration with PeopleDoc at the same time.
So is there anything else that you can share with us today about the future of HR and also, indeed, PeopleDoc?
Yeah, I mean, something that is not secret. So, our goal from day number one was and is and will be really to try to help the HR community in being more and more focused in added value tasks. We truly believe that in a world where people are more and more demanding, where the workplace is decentralized and somehow, virtual now, the HR role is taking care of people is getting more and more strategic. To perform this transformation, companies know that now they need to go digital. They need to automate workflows. They need to automate low added value task management. On a tech side, meaning from a PeopleDoc product side, we do believe in some kind of an empowered HR agent with some AI-based technology, not to replace them at all, but to solve their daily administrative tasks, to free more time for them to take care of people. This is really where we want to go. From a platform perspective, we are moving from a platform that is transactional today to something that is more conversational, to something that is easy to configure, to something that is self-learning on a day-to-day practice. And we are today mostly connected with the HRIS, but more and more, the process we are used for, let's say an onboarding, for instance, they involve people from HR, but also from legal, from IT, and so on and so on. So we are getting more and more horizontal as for the platform perspective.
Excellent. Well, before I let you go, could I just ask that you remind the listeners of where they can find you guys online and also contact your team if they have any questions, and also where they can get hold of that ebook that you mentioned early on in the conversation too?
Yeah, so sure, do not hesitate in contacting us. So you can find our information in people-doc.com. Find us on Twitter at PeopleDocENC and on LinkedIn. And so as for the ebook, it's on a dedicated section on the website.
Excellent. Now, a few moments ago, when I asked you if there was anything else that you can share with us today, you did say, something that's not a secret. And that sounded like a bit of a teaser to me. So I do hope that we can get you on again in the future. So a big thank you again for coming on today. And as we're going to see you again in the future, I suppose I should say, this isn't goodbye. This is au revoir.
Au revoir. À bientôt. It's à bientôt. See you soon is à bientôt in French. Yes.
I love chatting with Clement from PeopleDoc today and how he and his company are making a big difference to over 800 businesses located all over the world, but also how they're tackling GDPR together. So this got me thinking, everybody listening out there, whether you own a business or you're working in a department that's struggling with GDPR, tell me, is your company struggling or embracing GDPR? And also, what lessons have you learned along the way? If you want to share any of those lessons or insights by coming on the show, tweeting me or emailing me, I will make sure all those insights and questions are heard by our little community here. Now, does that sound like a deal? Good answer. Right, you can email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com, tweet me at Neil C. Hughes. And remember, you can also pop by my website, techblogwriter.co.uk. Ask me any question you want if you'd like to come on the show, or even just record me a virtual voicemail that we can play on the show. We can do anything we want. This is our show. But that's it for today. So a big thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.